Welcome back to the GSTL. FXOpen is fighting, clawing their way back, but now they have to play against the best Terran versus Zerg player in the entire world. Nobody comes close. Yeah. With a player who has not even qualified for the Challenger League, has not played a ton of games recently. The underdog.
Yeah, Innovation, the Terran player, and our Zerg for Team FXOpen. To be quite frank, Lucky has to get very lucky here to win this. He's a player who has shown in the past that he can take games of strong opponents, but he is definitely the underdog in this match, and he needs to win it if FXOpen wants a chance in the Ace match to get a victory today over Axiom-Acer. But Innovation, of course, the best player on that Axiom-Acer bench, and if he can take out Lucky, then they take a 4-2 victory over FXOpen today.
Yeah, and he is looking ready. You know, I think that we might see Innovation play a little bit unorthodox just because of BlizzCon. But if he messes it up and then he loses, then he's going to have to play again, and then he has to do that again. So I think he might actually just play straight up on this one.
I don't think that he's going to play anything unorthodox or whatever, because the thing is, like, you want to not show anything, but it's only one map, it's on the one matchup, so if
on
you
one
have
specific map too.
If you have to, and you're the Ice Player, you're like, well, alright, I go for it. You always want to have that chance that you don't have to play, but we have Frost as well as map, so...
Well, yeah, Frost is the best map. I love this map. And it's going to actually produce potentially a great game here. 4-player map. Lots of crazy action on the Bridges of Doom. Especially if we get horizontal spawns.
Yeah, it's also a map that we are most likely not going to see too often at WCS.
Definitely not.
So that's one of the reasons why Innovation is on that map. Yes. One of the reasons why I don't expect him. Like, if he has anything unorthodox in it, it's going to be his idea from the beginning. But a straight up macro game against Lucky is probably give him like a really good chance of taking it. We're going to see what exactly he's going to do right now. This is maybe the last game of the day. If Lucky doesn't take down Innovation and brings us into an ace match today. Going into the game now here at the GSTL. To the bottom right, the last player for Team FXOpen. He needs to get a little bit lucky to win against his strong Terran opponent in this game. It is
FXO Lucky.
And Lucky performed actually quite well in the recent matches when he was sent out in the GSTL, taking down opponents like Supernova. And also did quite well against Terran players at the WCG qualifier for South Korea, where he defeated Reality with a 2-1. He's up against a very different kind of Terran now, though. To the top right, the best player currently in the world, it is...
Acer Innovation.
And if that wouldn't already be tough enough to beat, Innovation's best matchup is probably the Terran versus Zerg, where he has a 77% win ratio. In best of threes, actually, he has an 83% win ratio against Zerg. So that is kind of insane.
And he's winning so much against the best players. It's not like he went to a tournament, started in the round of 64, and beat a bunch of no-names, and that's part of his win ratio. I mean, we're talking about he's almost like purely played against top-tier Premier League players. He's beaten players in global finals. He's beaten players in Premier League in Korea, which is the hardest league by far. I mean, he's not just with a 77% win ratio. He's a 77% against the best.
Yeah, the matches that he lost were... The games that he lost were games to Solkey, of course, the finals back then that we had in the Premier League, quite memorable. To Solkey, he lost twice to him. He lost to Shine, he lost to Jaedong, and he lost to DRG, and the last time he lost to Su in the Premier League. These are all the losses that he ever had in Heart of the Swarm against Zerg. I'm not going to bother reading you the opponents that he beat, because that's going to take too long. The game will be over by then. So we're not going to do that. Just take it for now that he is probably the best Terran versus Zerg player that exists in the world today.
Yeah. By the way, we had a cool build by Lucky. He sent his drone out at the exact timing to make a third hatchery. The Overlord sees no commander on the low ground, and then he instantly pulls back, starts a hatchery. I mean, a spawning pool. I've said that twice now about the spawning pool. But, does not take the fast third. And so for him, like, he's basically just saying, alright, if he goes CC on the low ground, command center first, I'm going to do double hatch. But if not, I'm turning around. And that's exactly what we saw. He's got his gas up as well, so he's going to have a quick speed. And it's Innovation who goes Reaper into Reactor Expand here, with actually a factory before Reactor, interestingly enough.
Yeah, and a few lings are being built just to make sure that he can defend against this. The drone
He's got to make a spore.
Pulled away. Here comes the Spore Crawler. And
even have to make a second.
Another one. Oh, not quite. Not yet.
Doesn't even make the second spore. Wow, great micro here by Lucky. Incredible, and the lings come out. Chase the Reaper.
Yeah, and the Reaper just barely gets away. But well done by Lucky indeed. He didn't lose a single harvester. He had to only start one Spore Crawler. So that was really well executed. Goes into speed now. That will, of course, help him to just chase back Hellions and also Reapers. But the double Queen is also going to be, of course, of help.
Yeah, for sure. Reaper just... you gotta be so frustrated, you know, it's so close on so many of those kills. Roach Warren goes down for Lucky. Something he's shown in the past, actually, even in the preseason, showing that fast burrow.
Yeah, that was that was something that we have never seen again, not even of him. But like right now, with the speed and that fast of a Roach Warren, it really looks like he wants to be the aggressor.
He needs to stop the scout though, and so far he does not see it. So that's a good deny there.
But that's going to be really interesting. If that works, that could be very devastating for Innovation. Because currently Lucky is already gearing up. He's getting additional Overlords, freeing up that supply that he will need to get his units out there. And he's still only at 24 Harvesters. Going into Lair Tech as well. And he actually cancelled. He went into the main base with the Overlord. He scouted what was going on. He saw the Stargate with the Tech Lab and realized that he would be up against Banshees. And then cancelled his Roach one. Started the Lair Tech because he saw, if I go up against you right now, you have the Banshees already in the game. You can go for additional units and just defend against what I do. I will fall so much behind. I have to be a little bit more flexible here. I have to change my goal.
Yeah, you saw what happened to JKS when he went for a similar type of aggression and was met with the Banshees. So, changes things up here. No cloak, of course, for Innovation. Just wants to use the Banshees for a little bit of map control, clearing up creep tumors, harassing drones that might take a third base, and also for defense.
I really love how he did that he was flexible enough in his play and in the strategy that he had in mind to say, alright, I'm going to change things.
Yeah, that's the second time in this game where he's totally just switched things up based on what he scouted. He uses his scouting information to decide what to do next.
Here comes the command center at the front, making sure that there is a tight wall. The double additional Spore Crawler.
Speaking of tight walls here,
against those Banshees. But here are the Queens defending against the Hellions for now.
Yeah, he's got so many Hellions though. The Banshee's also going to help out with DPS. It's going to be very difficult for Lucky to take a third base. He's actually just going to have to hunker down a little bit longer, take his fourth and fifth, or rather his third and fourth gas. And Reaper comes in here to verify. And you actually will see the 2-base Spire.
He can kill a couple of those Harvesters if he wants. Okay, here are the Zerglings. He was poking at the front, and...
Nice idea there, trying to get the Hellions to hit the Lings.
But he sees the Spire. We are on 2 bases still for the Zerg plan. We are already 8 minutes into the game. So a job well done for Innovation, making sure that the third base is a little bit slower. And with Innovation also spotting that there is a Spire indeed, he can make sure that he will have 1 or 2 missile turrets to just deal with incoming Mutalisk or the Widow Mines.
Yeah. And I mean, he knows the timing of the Spire too, so he's not even going to rush the turrets out right now. He's going to get them up a little bit later. The Baneling Nest here very safe by Lucky. And he actually starts 2 Overlords right now. He's going to have enough gas to make maybe 8 Mutas if he really wants to commit all of it to Mutas. And he's pulling all of his Overlords back right now because he knows that Vikings are going to start flowing. And he doesn't want to lose them, of course, to any pressure by Marines even.
Innovation is experienced enough. He should not lose a lot to those Mutalisks. Actually, he shouldn't lose.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to lose anything. He's just going to have to play a little bit defensively against them, perhaps.
He has a quite delayed third, and he can delay the third a little bit, but he has to be careful. There is already a Banshee just waiting for a drone to approach and take it out. Probably going to be killed by those Mutalisks. That's the first thing that should happen here. But let's see what Innovation is going to do. He should start his own missile turrets or the Widow Mines very, very soon now. Just, both of them.
Yeah, he's got a heavier Harvester count than Lucky does at 50 to 44 right now. This is something you almost never see, just because Lucky has been so tech intensive, but all of his tech has been scouted. And the 8 Mutas I was talking about are now just kind of sitting here. He knows that if he flies out, there's going to be turrets and Widow Mines waiting for him. All he can do is hope to harass or deny a third base, but he's going the wrong direction for that. I can't believe he's actually going to commit to flying in here. He's not going to be able to get anything done. I mean, he might maybe target a few SCVs, but oh god, the Widow Mine is perfectly placed.
Takes someone and immediately damaging all the others. Of course, those are going to heal over time, but that is already putting a stop to the aggression for now. That third base is most likely not going to take any damage as well. The third base of Innovation, of course. the Marines moving out, and, well, so far, so good for the Terran player.
Almost every single situation as a Terran, you want to take the base closer to the Zerg so you can attack and defend, but in this case, while Lucky's base is so late, he's just taking a third base because he knows that the Muse are never going to be able to do anything to him if he does that. He might catch a Hellion or two, on the other hand.
Yeah, but he's also like losing a lot of time.
Yeah, the Muse are flying in the wrong direction. You know, they're not going to where they want to be.
They're chasing the Hellions on the other end of the map, and now Lucky realized that it's going to take him an eternity to chase those guys down, and then they will be far too far away from the rest of the base. No saturation at the third, it's just highlighted.
He's just going to go for a baneling timing.
Look at the overall supply here. That's nearly a 30 supply lead that we currently see for Innovation.
Yeah, he's just going to go for using that third base as a macro hatch, go for a speed baneling. Ling Muta timing, and it's worked sometimes in the past, but I don't think it's going to work in this game against Innovation.
This is basically a timing. I like this is a horrible position for a Zerg player. You have even bases with the Terran player, you have less harvesters than the Terran. The Terran has additional mules, the income is plus 800 per minute, and the army supply is also in favor of Innovation. It could not be worse.
He's got bunkers set up, he has 8 Widow Mines. And he sees this coming, of course. He already expected it. Splits here. Widow Mine Scuts to go off. One's going to hit those mutas right dead on.
Yeah, and talking about dead, you know, there are a lot of dead things, and one of them is actually Lucky. 36 supply against 67.
He made it look silly, that attack there. And it kind of was a silly attack, but he was desperate.
Like, I don't want to steal anyone's thunder here, but to be quite honest, guys, this is basically over. No saturation at the third base for Lucky. Innovation has 3 fully saturated bases.
2-2 is halfway done.
2-2. He has Widow Mine set up back at home. He leaves nothing to chance. There's not a single gap that Lucky could exploit right now. The Terran player is in the best position ever. Has a 50 supply lead of all things. A Zerg player at this point would like to have a 50 supply lead.
Yeah. I mean, it goes up even higher. He's got now a 68 supply lead.
There is no saturation at the third base.
No, he doesn't. He hasn't still made a single drone since he went for the first attack. He's made, I think, 40 more lings. And then those 2-2 upgrades finish and the faster burrow upgrade for the Widow Mines, it's just going to be so easy for Innovation to attack here.
There is a reason why Innovation is currently the best player in the world, the best Terran versus Zerg player in the world, and that is exactly it. He is in, I mean, he made no mistakes here. His macro was crazy good. Every decision here was just spot on.
His medevac saw that the third base doesn't have saturation, and he's like, I'm not even going to attack you, man. Why would I? Why would I risk anything here when all that you have is attacking units? I'm just going to sit back, get 3-3, which he'll likely start instantly here because he has the gas. Yep, there it is. And he's got even armor coming out for his Widow Mines. And Lucky starts burrow because he's hoping that maybe he can get a lucky Baneling landmine hit off on these Marines. That's all he can hope for here.
Yeah, but even with those scans, this is most likely not going to work. The only hope for Lucky is to maybe a base race, doing some damage, and then a miraculous victory. But look at those Widow Mines everywhere. Here come those units, the Zerglings, and those Mutalisks, and boom!
Yeah, Innovation is back at home already. He's got units on both sides, and GG.
GG. I mean, that was a beatdown.
That was the most one-sided game we've seen today. Perhaps the most one-sided game we've seen this week.
And you can't really blame it on Lucky. It's just Innovation.
He's just so good.
He's so damn good in this matchup. It's insane. I mean, he comes out of the booth. He's like really bored. He's like, yeah. Can we go home now? Like, I would really like to catch up on some sleep and also practice for my WCS performance at BlizzCon.
He's just, I mean, he knew going into that, he's the favorite. He played a good game. Lucky's ability to, his fluidity in the game, you know, his flexibility was so high. He was switching things up left and right. But Innovation was staying solid. And his build was good. His execution was perfect. His defense was solid. And he was like, no, not for a second did I ever think he had a chance against me. No.
I mean, yeah. There's not a lot to say about this. Lucky was really trying, but Innovation, he played nearly a perfect game. And there was no point in the game where you could say, okay, if Lucky would have done this, then he might have been able to take it. In this situation, Innovation just showed why he's the best Terran versus Zerg player in the world. And that's
he read the attack like an open book. He had 3 bunkers split with like 5 Widow Mines also split. And the splitting of his units was good. The Banelings all blown up. The Smithereens instantly. Muta's taking shots. The Muta harassment did nothing because it was scouted early on by the Reaper. He had the turret up. He had the Widow Mine in the perfect spot because he knew exactly where the Mutas were going to come. Yeah. It's like he could actually see the future and he knew exactly what to do. But actually, it was just really good scouting and good reactions.
it was, I mean, yeah.
I mean,
it was innovation. Innovation just basically doing his
Lucky
thing.
got innovationed. He got bogus.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to say about it. So, as we were talking about before, they need to get the wins before the 3-3 comes into play as to see who goes to the ace match, because losing to innovation is something that everybody expected Lucky to do.
I mean, right now we have still FXOpen. They started a really good comeback, and they had like 2 wins there. They were probably hoping for Linux to also take his game, and then we have a very different scenario there. Then suddenly we would see the ace match after the victory of Innovation over Lucky, but that was not the case. So currently it's a 4-2 for Axiom-Acer. Seoul would, of course, have loved to see a bit of a more crushing defeat here, maybe a 4-1 in favor of Axiom-Acer to make sure that the indicator of FXOpen is not going to be better than their own. But at this point in time, FXOpen finds themselves still at the 4th spot in the ranks, and they are getting dangerously close to the position where Seoul is currently in.
Yeah. And that's really kind of the story of the team league now, is Seoul and FXOpen, which one of them is going to drop out. And, for Axiom-Acer, they get their first place spot back. They have an incredibly good indicator, I think of +8 or +9 now, something really, really high up there. And for them, it was not the easy day they expected probably, but it was still a good day. They get the +2.
Of course, we have our interview once again here with Crank currently. Good job by him today.
Yeah, actually a player himself.
Yeah.
It's your first win for the second round. Did you have any difficulties setting up your entry today?
And with him and they, of course, mean like Axiom-Acer, not him personally.
Yeah.
So even though they're having a small roster, every player is basically the ace player in other teams.
So basically what he's saying is, like, he feels like every player that we have is like as good as an ace player in another team. So that's basically how they're feeling right now. Like, all of our players individually are as good as the other team's aces. So he's like, we've got this even though we have a small team.
That's a pretty bold statement.
Yeah.
Just thinking about the teams that we have in the league and what kind of ace players they have.
But if you look at their score, I mean, I'm not to say that his statement is absolutely accurate, but if you look at their score, bold statements can be made. Nobody is challenging them yet.
They have a really, really strong team, but I would not go that far. I would like to see him go up against a team where Deer plays like every single game.
Yeah, I want to see Heartbeat Deer.
Yeah, but they have a really good run. Not only this round, but also in the first round. They are on the top spot currently for a reason. Incredible performance by them so far. And he's just talking a little bit about how all of the players, like when play in WCS America, they also played in WCS America qualifier. But the problem for him is, or for them in general, is that their results were not as good as they were hoping for.
So, one of the Korean casters actually helped him prepare for the qualifiers, he says. I would like to know how. Probably actually by telling him some of the players' styles that he watched.
Probably.
As I can tell you right now, I know the level of all 3 of those players, and even though that guy's Firebat hero on the left, he's not as good as he used to be. It's basically impossible to be a caster and a pro gamer, play the game at the highest level. You just don't have time. But, it's good that he's able to give him some tips, whoever it was.
Being asked about his goal in the GSTL here, and of course they want to keep the top spot and guess win the season.
And we want to win the season. And basically, actually, he says specifically, our indicator gets even higher is what he wants. Because, I mean, for them, like, there's basically no risk of not making it to the playoffs. They just want to get the highest indicator possible and make sure they're in first place. They have the best spot going into those playoffs. So we're going to hear from Innovation now, the player who dominated there in our final set.
감탄을 하거든요. 이게 뭡니까? 이게 말이 돼요? 저희가 항상 이런 얘기를 하는데 뭐가 다른 거예요? 이신영 선수만의 다른 특장점
He said it again.
Why are you so good, basically? Why are you dominating so much?
좀 상대방이 많이 말린 것 같은 느낌을 받았고 그냥
So he's like,
자신이 있어가지고
in today's matches, he thinks that his opponent made a lot of mistakes. He's very confident in his mechanics and just in his abilities. So didn't feel really threatened there.
Yeah, I mean, after you beat the players that he has beaten consistently, you look at a player like Lucky and you say, man, I like you, you're good, but you're not on my level.
최수영 코치에게 했던 것처럼 멋지게 또 한번 질문.
그 프로게이머라면 또
good play there by Innovation, just showing why he is the best.
이번 경기에서는 좀
I think it's 5 at Hero's birthday. This is the first time that he's allowed to ask a question.
Yeah, he's getting involved.
이겼다라는 생각이 들었는지 정말 궁금합니다.
When did you think you won the match against Lucky is basically the bottom line of what he said.
굉장히 저글링이 늦게 나왔을
He's like,
때
when I spawned to the top right of the map.
하는 거 보고 그냥 왠지 이길 것 같다고 생각을 하고 있어요.
아니 저글링 나오는 거
When he got into his opponent's base, when he got the scout, and he saw the links were a little bit late, and he thought that he has the advantage. And they were late because Lucky was considering going double hatch before pool, so his pool got delayed a little bit there. So things were a little bit late. He forced the double cancel on the drones, and that cost the Zerg a little bit of his mining and a little bit of money as well.
너무 잘하다 보니까
So,
최근에 저희
it's very bold Innovation to say that, but I mean, he has all the credibility to back it up. No one is as credible as him actually to make such statements.
Yeah. 그런 것들도 궁금하네요.
이진영에게 이영호.
We have a change in how the Korean commentators are leading the interviews. I like it. It's the first time that Firebat Hero and the rest is actually getting a little bit of speaking time here. Usually it's very well scripted and them just talk like only our middle guy talking, comedian caster.
Well, he's actually being asked about Flash right now. A lot of people are seeing him as Innovation's rival. And he says that he hopes that he and Flash both do well in StarCraft 2. They both have totally different styles. And it's actually going to be fun for the fans to watch both of us play different styles going forward.
I mean, I agree that it's fun to watch and that both of them are fan favorites, but I don't think how anyone can actually put Flash on the level of Innovation.
No, definitely not.
That's a bit of an interesting question to me, since like obviously the results are highly in Innovation's favor. But we have an interview with Impact as well, his first game today. It's just introducing
himself.
그럼요, 신들의 리그인데.
네, 그래서 앞으로는 제 본인 실력 보여줄 수 있도록.
He actually said that he thought Pro League and GSTL are pretty similar, but he actually came out to say that GSTL was a little bit tougher, and he wants to actually do his best to perform better in the future. So, shut down all those rumors. GSTL, of course, is a harder league. Whoa, that was weird. Yeah, now we're back. Okay, now we're gone. Now we're going into our actual results here. 2-4, FXOpen falls, only taken 2 maps.
Yeah, Hurricane and Gumiho, the 2 players that were able to get a point for FXOpen today. Lucky then on the 6th that loses to Innovation, and therefore Axiom-Acer takes it with a 4-2, securing themselves that top position in the rankings once again.
Yeah, a really good day of matches though. FXOpen showing some creative strategies. I loved to see the aggression that we saw.
Here's with the Reapers.
Yeah, the Reapers. Here's what I was saying. It said Axiom-Acer takes first with a +8 indicator. So way up there for a whole all kill ahead of a Zubu basically.
Yeah, but you can actually see the problem that we have at the bottom for FXOpen. If Seoul wins another match this season and FXOpen loses one, that would basically mean that FXOpen is at the end of the standings.
Yeah.
So the air is getting pretty thin at the bottom, and we have still 3 teams fighting for the top positions here.
Yeah, so those matches are going to be really pivotal. And I think we're going to get an upcoming look at our schedule as well.
Also, it's going to be back on Tuesday next week. We have a match on Tuesday and another match on Thursday once again.
So Axiom-Acer versus Azubu is the battle of who keeps first place. And that is going to be a really awesome one because it's basically the 2 best teams duking it out. There's no real clear favorite. A lot of people put Axiom-Acer on the edge, but there's no clear favorite here. And then FXOpen versus StarTale, that should be a good one to watch. That actually may decide FXOpen's fate for this season.
Exactly. Then Seoul, of course, has to win the game, but if FXOpen loses here, then things are going to be a little bit tough for them. And StarTale is not going to be easy to beat for them.
No, definitely not. So next week's matches, I think, should be some of our best coming up for the rest of the season.
Especially the Tuesday match. Axiom-Acer going up against Azubu should be a really good
That's
game.
Like the highest level StarCraft 2 Team League match you can ever find.
So this is it also for today. We have Axiom-Acer defeating FXOpen with a 4-2, taking the lead in the standings. Once again, the next match is going to happen on a Tuesday. Keep in mind that it's going to start a little bit earlier at 1 p.m. Korean Standard Time, not at 6 p.m. as today's match did. And we're going to see you next week then. Have a good weekend. See you soon. Bye-bye.